Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well. Saturday night, let's chop things up with the latest Knicks coaching search updates for y'all. And we're going to talk about Summer League news as well. Got some things to talk about. Just a chill stream tonight and a Q&A. We've got some poll in the chat about Knicks Summer League around the corner. Which Summer League Nick are you most looking forward to seeing? And of course, man, the summer of mayhem continues with the Knicks coaching search. Welcome in to tonight's live stream. We are live. Get your comments, thoughts, questions in, man. Let's have a conversation tonight. As always, appreciate you for rocking with us. Smash that like button. You've got the Knicks streets buzzing. We're on the eve of Game 7, man. The NBA season is about to conclude, and man, I'm feeling a certain way. Game 7. I mean, I can't imagine, a Knicks season coming down to one game. Like one game. You got to win one game to win the NBA championship, man. It's crazy, right? I hope Oklahoma can get it done, man. We'll chop that up. Give us your thoughts on a Game 7, man. Tomorrow, for all the marbles, man. Indiana, right there, man. The Knicks could have been right there, should have been right there, but we got so much to look forward to. I think moving forward, I think I'm so optimistic about next season and with the new coach. And let's talk about that right now, guys. I see you in the building. Let's go. All the diehards in the house. We've got some updates on the Knicks coaching interviews. Taylor Jenkins, Mike Brown interviewed, and the Stein line. Mark Stein plugged in, going to give us his reactions of what he's heard from these interviews as well. I got some Summer League news for you again. Some more Summer League news around the corner. The Knicks are locked into a mini camp ahead of Summer League in New York City. James Nagy, as we talked about last stream, is in New York as well. I got some updates on some other participants and non-participants of NBA Summer League for the New York Knicks. G-Man, what's good? Great to see y'all. Game 7, man, tomorrow. It's going to be insane, right? For me, the Summer League Nick I'm most looking forward to, man, is Pacome Dardier. Pacome Dardier is exactly what I think this roster needs, in terms of a guy that's going to slide right in, can create offense off the dribble, can provide, high quality defense with his physical profile and tools. So that's my Summer League Nick I'm most looking forward to, but I'm looking forward to seeing all of them, man. David, what's good? Darren, great to see y'all as well. As people come through the building, smash that like button. Let's get straight into it, guys. It's going to be about an hour stream tonight, man. Won't be too long, but we'll get through all the stuff, answer some questions, like I said. But the topic on everyone's mind and thoughts right now, man, we've got to lock in a coach. And sources briefed on the situation, according to Mark Stein, is that the hire of the new coach is not expected to come until after the draft. So that's not surprising to me. I would have loved to see the coach locked in as soon as possible. But the process is, the reality is that they're doing their due diligence. Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins have already interviewed, and we've got some feedback through the channels of Mark Stein. Going to hit on that next. But yeah, we're not going to have a coach locked in until after the draft. So ideally, it has to come before free agency, man. Free agency will be before June 30. Basically, you could start to negotiate with outside free agents a little bit earlier for your own free agents still on your club. But June 30 is the main date, and I expect would have at least a real close short list of candidates. But the two main guys that we know of right now, and there's more interviews to come, right? That's the feedback coming out. There's more interviews to come. But so far, right now, man, the advancement is that William Wesley has that strong relationship with Mike Brown. Um, so that holds some weight. You know, William Wesley has a huge voice in the Knicks front office, guys, you know, played a pivotal role from what I'm told in the firing of Thomas Thibodeau, right? He was driving the bus. So big voice. His relationship with Mike Brown seems to be very strong. So we'll find out more in terms of what that means. But from Taylor Jenkins is that Mark Steins has heard that that interview went really well, and Taylor Jenkins made a positive impression at that interview. So first interview, there will be a second if any of these candidates are to progress. There will be another one. Man, they're not going to just hire off a first interview. So we'll wait to find out more. But yeah, you know, all the noise and rumbling we're hearing is that Taylor Jenkins was kind of the leader in the clubhouse, and we kind of got more confirmation of that right now. So what do y'all think about that? I know, yeah, a lot of people are still for Mike Brown, a lot of people for Taylor Jenkins as well. I think both have a great case to make. I just want us to lock somebody in, man. I feel like they're both going to bring their experience to the table. Mike Brown's got more experience, obviously, with veteran players and been on bigger runs as well as a championship assistant. But Taylor Jenkins is young, very adaptable, offensively, you know, brings a lot to the table. Whoever's going to get the most out of this roster, man, and that's the selling point for me in this interview, right? A lot of our roster's not going to change. It's right there. So these guys can sell their vision on what they see, what they saw in the postseason already, film to chop up, whoever they're going to bring in for the assistants. It's going to be a process where we already know who the star players are on the team. You know, I don't expect this to get dragged out, fam. I really don't. I feel like Jason Kidd, on that note, Jason Kidd is still a name that the New York Knicks have very high on their board, arguably the highest, but the noise out of Dallas, the reporting seems to come out still to squash the noise on Jason Kidd. But until he gets that extension, right? Emu Doka got an extension. Billy Donovan got an extension. Jason Kidd, until that extension comes, the door could be open, I think, and is open still. But right now, man, he's just kind of maybe using us as leverage, right, to get that extension. I don't want to get played, right? The front office should know whether it's realistic or it's not. And I think by now we would have really heard, in my opinion, I think we would have heard a lot more if it was realistic. So I'm moving past the J Kidd thing for me right now. How do you guys feel? Lock in Mike Brown, Taylor Jenkins, interview a few other guys. Johnny Bryant should get an interview. A lot of people want Mark Jackson to get an interview, but we haven't heard anything about that yet. So I'll let you know if we hear anything. But obviously, we've got Mike Woodson. They already know what he brings to the table. I think he'll be more of a potential assistant candidate. But yeah, Taylor Jenkins made a positive impression. The fact that that's coming out, he has to be the leader in the clubhouse, in my opinion. But obviously, don't discount Mike Brown and how he went. I haven't really heard any reports on how his interview went specifically, but the relationship with William Wesley plays a big, big key. Like I said, man, William Wesley's voice in that front office is as loud as anyone's. He's got the ear of James Dolan, and he's obviously got the relationship and the strength of support of Leon Rose. Those guys are a duo. They came up together. They're family. If Wesley has something strong to say, Leon Rose will listen, and obviously has the blessing of his support as well. So that is where we stand, guys. We won't have a coach until the draft, but I see a lot of people saying we should. But quite frankly, guys, we're drafting with the 50th pick. The scouts are on autopilot. They know what kind of player they should be targeting. They know the roster right now. You know, we'll talk about that tonight with prospects. The NBA draft is next week. I'm excited because NBA draft night represents a lot of things for people. If you're a lottery team, it obviously represents hope. If you're a win now team looking to improve the roster still, it represents an opportunity to add some depth or swing a big trade. So one of the marquee nights of the NBA calendar is next week, NBA draft. And yeah, there'll be a lot of dominoes around the league to fall. The trade of Kevin Durant, I expect that to happen before the draft, guys. That's probably going to happen in the next 48 to 72 hours, fam. Kevin Durant, who the hell knows where he's going to go? Looks like Miami. Looks like the Raptors are going to make a late push. The Phoenix Suns, man, they're trying to get more. You know, Miami doesn't want to give up Khalil Ware, so we'll see how that plays out. We'll talk a bit about that tonight. Darren says, wouldn't that cause an impact on the draft? I mean, the Knicks only hosted 2 pre-draft workouts so far. So, yeah, Darren, basically the scouts, led by Walt Perrin, assistant general manager, you know, him and Leon Rose obviously will converse. You know, we know what this roster will be looking for, you know, some playmaking, some shooting, maybe some front court depth. The fact that Tibbs isn't here, I just feel like it's more likely that young players are going to get a chance. You know, they're going to get a shot. I'm excited to talk about Summer League right now because all cards are on the table, ladies and gentlemen. There's no Thibodeau anymore, and we've talked about it. People still excited and celebrating, but I'm looking forward to seeing who we bring in. But obviously, they're going to be more open-minded to get the most out of the roster in terms of top to bottom. Salute Danny, what's good? Michael Drake, I see you. What's good, Keith? Great to see everyone in the building. So yeah, our Summer League New York Knicks. Right. Which Knick are you most looking forward to seeing? For me, it's Pacome Dardier. But I'm not going to lie, man. Kevin McCullough, you know, he intrigues me because he's the mystery man. We got to see a little bit of Tyler Kolek. We got to see some Ariel Hukporti. We want to see more. James Nagy, obviously, the new kid on the block. We're going to get to see him as well in full effect. But Kevin McCullough, man, he put up a triple-double late in the season for the G League Westchester Knicks. And just as well as Pacome Dardier, he's exactly what this roster needs as well. A 6'6" wing that's a defensive first guy. Gets his hands dirty, will get gritty, can defend, put ball pressure. A pesky perimeter defender as well. Can slash, can get to the bucket and finish as well. So looking forward to seeing some Kevin McCullough. Hopefully he's healthy, ready to go. So the first update for y'all for Summer League, as I spoke on earlier as well, the Knicks will be hosting a 5-day mini camp right before the Summer League begins in New York City before the team travels to Vegas, right? But right now, all the players, they're in New York City already, working out at the facility. The training, the mini camp hasn't commenced yet, but these guys are already in New York City, working out with each other, connecting, hanging out together, chilling. You know, what a rookie season it was for a lot of these players to taste the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, they didn't really get many minutes, but just the whole, you know, experience. You know, Hukporti did get in late to some games, garbage time, whatever. But normally when you're a rookie, guys, you know, you're on a losing team. Well, if you're selected, you know, higher up, you're on a losing team. You know, you don't get to taste the experience what these guys did. So I feel like they're going to come in super hungry, you know, ready to show what they can do for the new prospective coach, right? We don't know who's going to be on the sidelines yet for Summer League, but we do know that there's going to be an experienced assistant, Brian Gorgian, who I know very well, Leon Rose knows very well, trusted, known each other for decades. He's an experienced international coach. He's going to be running the mini camp, and he's obviously got the respect and ear of Leon Rose. So we don't have our coaching ducks in a row yet, but Leon's called upon a friend from overseas to come over and oversee this situation. Brian Gorgian's a 6-time championship coach overseas in the NBL in Australia, and he's been an assistant for Knicks Summer League before as well. So he's not new to this. He's a veteran. He's 70 years old. He'll be hosting the mini camp with these guys and ready to get into it. Buzzer beater, salute Johnny. What's good building blocks? Johnny says Brown and Jenkins holding hands in the interview. I think they'll be ready to fight it out, man. Everyone wants this job, in my opinion, right now. Right. They ain't able, a lot of these coaches that are attached, they ain't able to come out and say, we want this job, but hey, the Knicks got these guys paid. Billy Donovan reports. Actually, I did see a report come out that Billy Donovan was really, really intrigued by the Knicks job, but the Bulls said no, he wasn't able to shake loose, man. We all know Billy Donovan, man, a New York native. Once a Knick, always a Knick. Billy Donovan wanted this job, but it is what it is, man. He's stuck in Chicago right now. And somebody who's not stuck in Chicago is James Nagy, the newest Knick, fresh off a European season, is exploring the city right now via his Instagram. So James Nagy in New York City, part of the workouts right now ahead of the Knicks mini camp as well. So looking forward to seeing him. And I think the Knicks, as I said before, guys, I think James Nagy will make training camp. He'll be amongst the the possibilities of getting a roster spot. He's tried to he's cancelled his European contract. He's come all the way over now. He's all in, and Leon Rose is interested to see what he looks like on this roster. So he's exploring the city right now. If you see a 7-footer, a demon walking around the streets, you might bump into James Nagy right now. Another update for y'all as well, right? Y'all might know another Knicks stash received in the Delon Wright Jericho Sims trade. French 6'5" point guard Hugo Besson, right, is unlikely to come for Summer League, unfortunately. Haven't got the full reasoning, but it does look like Hugo Besson is hosting some basketball camps in his home country in France. And so Hugo Besson, 6'5", right? I would have loved to see him come over as I pull up some highlights for y'all, right? Plays above the rim. He's got some spicy game to him, and I think a 6'5" point guard would be a worth taking a look at. But he didn't come over for Summer League the previous year. The Milwaukee Bucks explained that they didn't feel like he was ready to make their roster. They're trying to win now. He had a very good season overseas, man. He was averaging 19 points per game. He can get to the rim. He can finish there. You see finishing in traffic. 6'5" that plays above the rim, man. Kind of a little bit of, you see guards like Russell Westbrook, a dynamic point guard that can finish above. This guy's got flash. He's got a couple of years pro experience as well. He could be one to look for in the future, but it does look like at this stage unlikely that Hugo Besson will be there for Knicks Summer League. But yeah, here he can splash the three. He put up one of these games 2 years ago. He put up 12 points, 3 assists, 2 steals as well. gets into the passing lane, more of an offensive-minded guy. But yeah, Hugo Besson, the Knicks have his draft rights right now, so he can't play for any other team. Bear in mind, the Knicks love these sign and trades, and they love to utilize these stash assets in further trades. So the fact that we're not bringing him over, we might still not have seen the last of Hugo Besson. But in terms of that, we already know these summer league Knicks are ready to take Vegas by storm. What's good? Buzzer beater. Hugo Besson. I heard about Hugo Gonzalez. So yeah, I saw your comment, fam. Let me address that now. Hugo Besson is the guard, the stash guard that the Knicks have. Hugo Gonzalez is a draft prospect in this current draft. He plays for Real Madrid, and he's slated to go between 10 to 20. So yeah, no connection to the Knicks. Hugo Gonzalez, he's not even in the Knicks realm right now. He's gonna be a draft pick, top 20 right now. The Knicks are selecting pick 50. Maybe there's a little bit of confusion right there, but yeah, Hugo Gonzalez, his borderline lottery selection. Building Block says, do we still have the rights to Matthias Lesort? So great point, man. Great question. Timely. No, we don't. We actually traded his rights in the Hugo Besson trade with the Milwaukee Bucks. So we did a swap. We now have Hugo Besson. The Milwaukee Bucks have the draft rights to Matthias Lesort, another French big man as well. So some musical chairs being shifted up, fam. But I like the look of Hugo Besson. He played in the NBL as well for the New Zealand Breakers. He played in the same league as Huck Porty and same as the Alex Tui, a lot of these other prospects coming through. Spicy point guard out of France, 6'5". Johnny, great question here. Out of all of last season's rooks, who do you think has the highest ceiling? Definitely Pacome Dardier, and that's the reason I feel like he's the guy that I just want to see the most. The tricky thing is, Johnny, he's the youngest, and it's going to take more time for him, most likely. But he might surprise us. He might come out. I mean, Thibodeau started him on opening night, so he had to see something that he liked out of him in training camp. But with Pacome, I think it's all about how much can he do off the dribble, because he's already a solid off-ball contributor. He cut well, good IQ, knows to find his place within the offense. For an 18, 19-year-old, I saw good flashes, cutting to the basket, slicing and dicing, can finish above the rim. For me, it's all about what can he do with the ball in his hands. He needs to tighten his handle, because he did get a lot of reps in the G League, but what I did see is he did turn the ball over quite a bit as well. So the shot obviously has to continue to evolve, as it does with most prospects. But with Pacome, man, if you can tighten his handle and work with Mikal Bridges on, he's got that nice mid-range pull-up, and he's solid catch and shoot. He's solid catch and shoot already from the corner threes as well. So I feel like the ceiling, Johnny, with Pacome Dardier is the highest, but I feel like it's all about what can he do with the ball in his hands. Can he be an Andrew Nembhard, and create, can he, create his shot as well at a consistent higher level? We'll see. But next, I think Kevin McCullough, Ariel Huckporty, and look, not to sell my guy Tyler Kolek short, but we kind of know what his floor is already. I feel like I kind of know what his ceiling is already as well, and it's a very good ceiling. We all see TJ McConnell, man. what is there to say about TJ McConnell? Um, as I spoke on earlier tonight, man. Game 7 tomorrow. Let us know your thoughts, man. Oklahoma got to pull it out. David Salute says McCullough going to play a huge role. Yeah, he's second for me. It's just the injuries, man. He wouldn't have slipped to pick 56. Right, Kevin McCullough was going to go probably in the 30 range, if not for the injuries. But he's obviously more of a senior prospect, a super senior, I think. What did he play? 4 or 5 seasons in college. So his game's ready-made. It's all about the health. I think, as I said, he dropped a triple-double. Triple-double, man. He had 20, 10, and 10 as well. Can create, can bring the ball up the floor as well. We need that. We need a guy that's got 6'6" size, can relieve Brunson of some ball handling. Another Josh Hart, but somebody who can knock down the J. Kevin McCullough's ceiling on offense is higher than Josh Hart, on offense, right? He can knock down the shot. He can shoot it. Can Kevin McCullough, right? Josh Hart, not so much. So yeah, my guy Kevin McCullough as well. And yeah, Ariel Hukporti, let's go. Ariel Hukporti, got a taste. Maybe got the biggest taste of minutes with the big club. Now, there's a new kid on the block, James Nagy. Mitchell Robinson showed what he can do. He's not going anywhere. Karl Anthony Towns struggled on defense. Ariel Hukporti, big summer league for the Huck. Right. Talk about ready-made game. I mean, he's a veteran at this point, man, is Ariel Hukporti. He's played, a year in Europe. He's played 2 seasons in Australia. And he's had a full season now on a big club. Now, he's got to be prime, man. He's got to be ready to dominate summer league, coming off the meniscus surgery. Ariel Hukporti, I'll be looking for him to showcase that he's more disciplined defensively, not biting on these pump fakes, just chilling a little bit. He was a little too exertive, is Ariel Hukporti. We know how excited he was to get, scarce opportunities under Thibodeau, but he's got to stay out of foul trouble, man. His pathway to get minutes is to be disciplined. We already got Karl Anthony Towns that can't stay out of foul trouble. If Ariel Hukporti is to be trusted with 15 to 20 minutes, he just has to be disciplined. He can already move his feet. He can stay in front of guys, man. He can contest well. He gave Scotty Barnes fits, man. And so with Huck, looking to showcase some offensive game as well. Nice little hook shot around the basket. Can pass well out of the short roll. I'll be looking for him to establish that this is my shot, man. And James Nagy, you need to back me up. But James Nagy's coming over like, hey, I'm hungry. I've torn up my European contract. I'm coming here to stay as well. Could we see some double big lineups with both of those two? That'd be nice. I think that could be the starting 5 right here. What do you guys think? Kolek, McCullough at the 2, Bacome Dardier at the 3. You got Hukporti maybe at the 4 or the 5. I think they're interchangeable. James Nagy reports 6'11", 7 feet without shoes, 7'5" wingspan, and 9'4" standing reach, man. One of the best tools in the draft class that he came in right now. We could be stacked. We could be stacked at the big man spot, fam. And one thing's for sure, man. Precious Achiuwa, at this stage, unlikely to come back. We'll see. He might take a veteran's minimum. We'll see how that all plays out. But for the other just joining us, man, smash that like button. I can speak on Hugo Besson, the European stashed 6'5" guard that we picked up in the Jericho Sims deal from Milwaukee. He had some success in Summer League 2 seasons back. A good season in Europe. but it doesn't look like he's going to come over for Summer League. And also Rokas Jokubaitis, we already know that he's gone on the record, talked about that he's not going to come for Summer League. He's a veteran now. He's played Summer League twice. He said, I'm not going to come over unless it's for a guaranteed contract. But I would like us to get a look at Hugo Besson. We'll see. He might be trade stash. He might be a guy that we look at next season. I don't know, but I do like a point guard with size. Pause. A point guard that's 6'5", can finish above the rim like a Westbrook. Mars, great comment here. Salute. We've got some free agency news as well. Gary Trent. I want us to pick up Gary Trent, fam. And a domino hit today. Pat Connaughton exercised his $9.4 million player option with the Bucks. So what does that mean? That means that it could be more difficult for the Milwaukee Bucks to retain Gary Trent, a free agent. We'll talk about that coming up. Mars says, seeing Obi play is the reason Tibbs got fired. Too rigid. That boy staying in the corner. No creativity of how to utilize your players. Agree, man. Agree. I think Obi deserved more of a shot. Definitely, even if you're the backup, play more minutes. Play to his strengths. Look at Rick Carlisle. He's not rigid. I think those thoughts have been echoed a lot, fam. And, as we look at our roster coming up for next season, that's why I'm hyped for Summer League. It's like wins and losses, it doesn't matter. Go out there and ball, young fellas. Go out there and show what you can do. Play free because we need you. We need you this upcoming season, man. Right? There's only so many vet minimums contracts that you can sign. I went on a big rant, I think a few streams back, about winning a championship. And most likely you're going to need contributing from younger players, homegrown players that you draft. Look at Indiana right now. Look at Oklahoma. Look at Denver. They got contributors from their guys. Christian Brown. Not saying the whole squad, but obviously you need a couple of pieces. You need to hit. Right, the salary CBA, it's killing people. And you need some good contributions from guys that you draft, Dardier, McCullough, Huckporty, Kolek. They have to get a shot, man. And I think last season, it didn't get off to a great start because Thibodeau preseason, as in most of the cases, he does waste preseason as Thibodeau. Right, he doesn't experiment enough. Like I said, preseason, it doesn't matter if you win or you lose. Right, experiment. Preseason, he played the veterans. Every year we play Charlotte, we play Brooklyn, we play Washington. You don't get anything out of that. Right, why are you lining up these preseason games against lottery talent? Lottery teams. You should use preseason as a opportunity to test these guys, Also, like Mars said, as soon as, Mitch got healthy, he didn't play the double big lineups throughout the regular season. Before Mitch returned, he didn't play Huckporty together with Cat. And then in the final game of the season, he's playing the double big lineups. Question from Buzzer Beater. How deep is the draft, really? It's pretty good in the second round. Just keeping it related to the Knicks, the lottery, and it's not great at the top, Buzzer, in my opinion. But there's a lot of sleeper talent in the second round. A lot of parity in the second round from like 25 to 50. And those are the thoughts also of some draft scouts. Sam Vecini of The Athletic spoke on it as well. So pick 25 to 50. it's open slather, fam. We'll talk about that tonight. We could really find some prospects that could help us out. They've got to be the right fit, though. Michael Drake says we're stacked CT, but a two guard like Kobe White, Lonzo Ball, fam. Yeah, I feel you. I see the vision. A 6'5" guard that can also run point. I think we need that. Kevin McCullough could be that. Tyler Kolek should get a serious shot. But yeah, I see you on the Kobe White conversation, guys. I spoke on that last show. Check that out if you haven't already. But I'm a big fan of Kobe White. I think the pull-up three shooting is game changing. We need a guy like that. Hopefully, we get more out of Mikal Bridges. You know, I know there's a lot of discourse over Mikal. Mikal Bridges is a guy who gives you more on the defensive side than a Kobe White. But yeah, the pull-up three, man, we need more consistency from above the break. Keep an eye out on Chicago. Like I said, they've got to pay Josh Giddey 30 plus million, 35, the rumors are. They're a cheap organization historically. Kobe White, they got him on a bargain deal, 3 years, 33 million. He's approaching the final year now. They have to make a decision. Is that their backcourt of the future? Or is Kobe White gettable via a trade? Is he gettable? You know, you've got to get in on those conversations, kind of like the Desmond Bain situation like Orlando did. To talk about the draft consensus right now, what are your thoughts on some guys we could pick up? Eddie says, this is a year we find out what we have in our young draft picks. Let them learn even if they make mistakes. Yeah, Eddie, it's about finding where they can fit, even if they can give you 8 to 12 minutes, you know, play to their strengths. Like Brunson, he needs a rest, right? Kolek can come in, man, can get you 5 assists. Like he deserved more of a shot. Like I said, Huck Porty, I would have loved to see him play a bit more ahead of Jericho, but especially before Mitchell Robinson got back. You know, Huck should have played alongside Cat, 5-6 minutes a game at least. Thibodeau wasn't interested in tinkering, throughout the regular season. Dirty Dancer says, we just needed a couple of teams to make mistakes. Yeah, and we can get a Mika Peavy, a Kobe Breyer, or a Sion James. Yeah. I like those guys. Yep, we're on the same wavelength with that one. Shay says Tom stunted their growth. Yeah, I think it's a bit of that disconnect between Leon, the front office, and Thibodeau, because they're ticking all the boxes. The front office, they're getting young guys, they're scouting, they're looking at ways we can skirt the second apron, and Brock Aller's pulling off, gymnastics, and Thibodeau just sitting there like, all right, I'm going to do it my way. We all know famously he called Brock Aller a hinky. Coming out of the reports from Yaron Wiseman, who wrote that huge piece on the Knicks front office dynamic. That's going back like 4 or 5 years now, but he kind of mocked Brock Aller and called him hinky. So that just speaks to the disconnect, man. Tom was great at what he's great at, but yeah, he's from the other era, fam. Not going to disrespect Tom, but yeah, he's from a different era right now. The league's changing. It's changed already. The three-point ball is huge. It can get you back into the game. It can lose you a game. Tom Thibodeau just didn't, he didn't come with the times, man. He didn't adapt. Giving up too many threes, fam, as well. That's how we lost game 1, man. You don't lose game 1 without the 3 ball. So what else is coming through? Here we go. The Athletic, James L. Edwards, lists 5 potential names that we can look out for next week. Kobe Brea, the 3-point sniper out of Kentucky. We've got Peavy, Dink Pate, Jamira Watkins, and Kobe Sanders. So I like those names. I think, yeah, some two guards, some wings, some shooting as well, but some size in these prospects. Jamira Watkins, Mika Peavy. I'm looking for a guy who can play multiple positions, can guard multiple positions as well. Ideally, more weapons. As we talk a little bit about the finals now, guys, with the disdain that I have for Indiana, man, the respect for the way their roster's built, where they've got multiple guys that can handle the ball, that can pass, shoot, dribble. Right, that's the blueprint for me. If you can run with the ball, you're always pushing the defense on its heels. Right now, we're a Jalen Brunson, bring the ball up, got 4 guys on him, and everybody else standing around. That's not the blueprint. So Hart, we could have used him to bring the ball up more. I feel, he's not a good off-ball shooter, so we should have got him on the ball. We should have had Brunson more off the ball. Deuce McBride should have got way more opportunities, man. I know Deuce is a very respectful, mild-mannered guy, but I got to feel like out of all of these players and the quotes that have come out about the interviews, with the front office and the quotes Deuce McBride made, I got to feel like Deuce McBride is one of those guys that was just, welcoming a new coach, man. Because he deserved more minutes. He should have played next to Brunson more as well. He's looking at his impending free agency coming up, and he's like, what are y'all doing? You're holding me back. I know y'all got me on a cheap contract, but I'm trying to show you what I could do, so that I can also help and I could also get paid. Deuce McBride is a guy that, like I said, is respectful. He'll do his role, but I think he outgrew that role. I feel like Deuce McBride is a starter right now. He's a starting caliber player. I mean, who the hell knows what his numbers would look like if he played 36 minutes. Deuce McBride's per 36 minutes, will be pretty good. Probably better than, 50% of the league's starting guards. So I'm really high on Deuce. Like I said, the Knicks will have a choice to make with his free agency coming up. And like Mars said earlier, we have to make a decision. And Eddie Salute said, with our young guys, we have to figure out who's worth keeping, who's a guy that we could trade. Maybe their development is just going to take a little bit more time, and we're trying to win now. But some of these guys could help. Also, Markovic is a name that's come through on the consensus mock draft. Now, he's a 6'11" power forward shooter that can dribble and can shoot. Markovic, I think one of these consensus outlets had the New York Knicks selecting him, fam. 2 of them, Bleacher Report, yep, and also CBS. So keep a lookout for him, guys. He's a steal in the second round because he's a guy that's been playing pro in Serbia, but he's versatile. He's 6'11". He can guard multiple positions and can handle and can shoot it as well. So that would be an intriguing addition to this squad. A 6'11" power forward that can dribble. We all know Precious Achua, be lucky to get away with 2 dribbles, fam. Without turning it over. AP, we've got Yuri Art and C-Dub in the building. Guys, what are your thoughts on Game 7 tomorrow, man? I'm predicting an OKC win. But man, I can't think about that there's a reality that Indiana could be NBA champions, man, coming into this season. They started 10-15 this season, and they're one ball game away from being the NBA champions, man. They don't really have a ball dominant go-to scorer. They've got Tyrese Halliburton. They've got Nembhard, Neesmith, Siakam, and a solid bench, Miles Turner as well, man. This was a great opportunity. This was a great year. Unfortunately, game one is what it is, fam. I didn't feel confident that the Knicks would have beat Oklahoma, but based on what we've seen, you just never know. I mean, maybe Brunson and the team just cook for a couple. Maybe Oklahoma, crumble down the stretch in one of those games, and we get 3, and maybe Game 7 in OKC, we have a chance to win that chip. Maybe it would have been the Knicks in Indiana's situation right now, with 1 win away. But yeah, I feel like the crowd is going to be crazy, buzzer, with that one. And Dirty Dancer says, yeah, blowout or Indy narrow win, nothing in between. Scott Foster's been brought in, right? Is he going to call it tight? Is he going to call it like football? Like I said at the top of the show, guys, I can't imagine what it would be like to be in that situation. I mean, Game 7 in '94, I was too young to even understand or really, remember right now how that was like. But I just knew the Knicks were awesome. They had a great chance, with Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Oakley, Mace. But right now, Game 7, you win, you're the champion. You lose, you'll never forget the heartbreak. But with Indiana, though, I feel like they're just playing with house money. AP says, OKC, I don't want to be in Indiana's history reel. That's right. That's a real point, man. If Indiana win the chip, we'll also be a part of that history. We don't want that, man. We don't want that. No doubt about it. But look, they say you never lose, you only learn. And if Indiana beating us has pushed us in this direction to fire Tibbs, and learn from them and also learn from what we could do better, that ultimately pushes us to winning an NBA championship, then sometimes you need to get humbled, Right now, I think we were a little bit too arrogant, especially from the Thibodeau side. We needed to get more flexible right now. Taylor Jenkins, the leader in the clubhouse, for one of the reasons is that he's flexible, right? He's used to working with young players, young rosters, and overachieving as well. Is he the best name, the sexiest name, the name that I thought would be, leader right now? I didn't, but here we are. I trust the front office. I trust that, they are doing all of their due diligence. They've looked at Kidd. They've kicked the tires. They've approached Billy Donovan, who wanted the job, but Chicago didn't let him go. They like Quinn Snyder, who's a young, innovative coach. Atlanta said no. What else can they do, man? I know a lot of people want us to bring more of an older head. Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy. I think they will bring, strengths to the role. But if we're moving away from an old head like Thibodeau, we're doing that also with the aim of getting in, some younger minds, somebody who is more flexible. SF Wisdom says Foster is reffing Indiana no shot, and Dirty says that's what sucks about having Foster involved. Whether the team loses, whatever team loses, they play the victim. It's going to come down to the refs and, they blew this and replay now. That's the thing. Game sevens, we didn't really have replays, right? What was the last game seven, fam, in the NBA Finals? It was Cleveland, Golden State. I don't think we had the challenge call back then. AP says CT losing the game. Losing game seven in the finals hurts just as much as losing it in the first round. I think the further you go, for me, it hurts even more. The closer you get, you can smell it. But look, shout out to Oklahoma. They've been the best team all regular season, and I feel like they deserve it. But they have to go out and get it. They did all that fighting to get home court. That's why. If the Knicks were able to win Game 6 against Indiana and bring it back to Madison Square Garden for another Game 7, I feel like we would have got the job done. Because, we did fight to get the home court, but we gave it back up, man, in Game 1. But I think our players will learn from that heartbreak, and they'll come back better. They've got to stick together, and that's why I feel like it's important to keep most of the core intact, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the Kevin Durant decision, right? I love Kevin Durant, the talent. The reality is, it's not what it used to be. He's 36, turning on 37 before the season commences. And unfortunately, the biggest factor is he's on a $50 million contract. So you can't get him in unless you're giving out major pieces. If Kevin Durant was on a $20 million contract, I'm pretty sure he would be a Knick. If it took Mitchell Robinson, Hart, some picks, whatever, OG, some picks, I'm pretty sure Kevin Durant would be on the Knicks. But the fact that he's on a $50 million contract, it was just, the juice is not worth the squeeze right now, especially in terms of his durability and his game right now. And so the silver lining is, guys, that we keep this core together for the most part. Maybe one or two pieces, gets moved out. But in terms of what they went through, similar to what the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics went through. Remember, the Boston Celtics lost in heartbreak, and they came back and they won it. The Denver Nuggets did the same thing as well. They kept it together. Aaron Gordon, Jamal, the Joker. Those guys went through the pain of losing in order to come back hungry, come back and do it again. So, Karl Anthony Towns, it was a bumpy ride, because of the trade late in the offseason. But I feel like the work is going to be done early in this preseason, fam. Kobe Bryant, it does look like he's going to go probably between the 30 to 40 range, fam. I would love to get him in. So the Knicks might have to move up. They could package some cash. They could package some future seconds and try to move up. But I think Kobe Bryant is going to go between 35 to 45, fam, right before the Knicks. Unfortunately, fam. Now, one topic of conversation that hasn't been highlighted is that the New York Knicks would have had a second pick in this year's draft, another second round pick, which was our own second round pick, but we forfeit that pick in the Jalen Brunson tampering saga, fam. And so the Knicks could have had two picks to package to maybe move up, but I'm not going to lose sleep. It is what it is. Yeah, I agree. MG losing a game 7 in the finals hurts. Infinity times worse than round 1, but because you're right there. But it does hurt, man. Game 1, I feel like that's on the coach more so, the players, fam. But We look at Deuce's quotes. We didn't adapt to late game situations. We didn't practice late game situations. So how could we be best prepared to close a pesky, feisty team like Indiana out? When they're just running the ball up, shooting threes. We weren't. The game was happening so quick that we let our foot off the gas, and we weren't equipped to handle those late game possessions. Brunson turning it over, passing it to OG with 35 seconds on the clock. Hart throwing the ball away as well. That's the thing that I want us to really focus on. If we bring everybody back, we all know everybody's tendencies. Cat, OG, these guys know each other now, inside out. They need to highlight the details in this training camp coming up, inbounding scenarios, out of timeout situations, free throw execution, fouling up three. I want us to correct all of those things that were messy. It was messy at best under Thibodeau. He would just be standing there screaming, and the players just would be, out of it. So hopefully we can clean those things up. But yeah, it all starts, man. Summer League is just a few weeks away. Draft next week. Free agency as well. The New York Knicks are always in the news, always staying busy. James Nagy in New York City right now. Yuri Art says, do we have any news on the Mikal extension, CT? Nothing yet. Nothing at the moment. I do think it'll get done. I feel strongly it'll get done. I feel like Mikal Bridges will get the extension. The salary cap is going up after this season, and we can fit his extension under the second apron. So if the Knicks are worried about the second apron, but there will be consequences because Mitchell Robinson's money comes off the books this season, which allows the Knicks to extend Mikal Bridges and stay under the second apron. If they want to keep Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson, they will be over the second apron. So just keep an eye out on that. I'm a Mitch guy. I'd love to see Mitch stay. I think he will stay this season. But, finances are going to play a major factor in that. They might look for a 2-for-1. They might look for a salary swap. There's collateral, with the payroll that keeps going up. And it might not be Mitchell Robinson. I know a lot of people have given me their feedback on a potential OG trade. But I love OG and what he brings. He's a perfect fit for this roster. But where I'm looking at, if I'm thinking like the front office and I'm looking at players that are like, okay, what are their salaries? You look at OG, he's on $42 million. So between Mikal or OG, maybe something's got to give. Or like I said, it might be Mitchell Robinson that they look at and they try to extend him at a lower number. Or most likely, I think Mitch has deserved a pay rise. So, Mitch is on 14 to 15 million. This is his final year. This is Mitch's final year of his contract. So we have to make a decision. And we all know the front office usually gets ahead of the curve. And if they don't plan to re-sign somebody, they'll trade them out, just like they did with Julius Randle. They don't want to lose an asset for nothing. So you have to be prepared. Are you going to pay Mitchell Robinson? Are you going to extend him? They should already know the answer to that question. I think in the free agent market, I think Mitchell Robinson would command 18 to 20, assuming he plays all of next season and he's healthy. Based on what he did in the playoffs, there's no way a team's getting him for less than 15 right now with the salary cap, going up. So yeah, the Mikal thing, it makes sense. I think they can fit him under the second apron. if if they if he is happy being here, obviously with Brunson and Hart, the new coach, I think that'll settle things down with Macau. But look out for some of the other moving parts. um, I'll get back to Eddie in a minute. Salute Geraldine, great to see you here. Eddie says Nick's biggest need is a sharpshooter who can hit shots, get shots off any time. Yeah, a movement shooter is great. Kobe Brea is the best fit in the draft for us, I think. Maybe Sam Merrill in free agency would be great. Gary Trent as well is my number one free agent target, realistic target. Michael Drake says, CT, what are the most pressive needs for the Knicks in a new 25-26 season? Fixing the offense, fam. Michael, my biggest thoughts, pressing needs is to, expand our offense. Our defense, for as up and down as it was good enough to get us with limited personnel, with some of the personnel, it was good enough to get us within 6 wins of an NBA championship. So you're that close, fam. If you can make our offense better, who the hell knows? We might be blowing out Oklahoma right now, this time next year. So I feel like offense is definitely the thing that we can fix right now. Get some more ball handling, get some size, some shooting as well. And we take it from there, fam. Better late game execution, Look, I think most of y'all agree. Look at Indiana's team and look at ours. You can't say that Indiana's like better than, talent v talent. You can't say that they're better than us. They have a better game plan. They play to their strengths and they execute. That's why they're playing right now and we're not. The improvement has to come from within first. I feel we can strengthen the roster and we have to, because you can't stay still. But the improvement could come from within right now, and that's why we're looking at this head coaching search, and we're not leaving any stones unturned right now. Just Nick, salute. Markovic is a tough Porzingis mixed with Jokic. We've seen a lot of those guys come out of the big club in Serbia, Mega. Some of them work out, some of them not so much. Porzingis is going to be on the block as well. That's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. I do know KP deep down still has an affinity with the New York Knicks, the fan base, like he spoke on when the Knicks eliminated the Boston Celtics. He had some nice things to say about the Knicks as well, with a smile on his face. So maybe not this offseason, maybe some point in the future. Maybe Kristaps Porzingis comes back to fulfill his prophecy. Maybe as a vet minimum guy. So my thoughts on the Kevin Durant situation. Happy that the New York Knicks front office are not doing that old school LOL Knicks and just, kicking the tires on that OG. I feel like I said, you have to give up too much and it would set us back. If Kevin Durant was on a much lower salary and was willing to take a discount on his next contract, then things might be different right now. The reality is the Phoenix Suns are not accepting Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet and a few picks. It's far more complicated. I'd love to see him with, double digit scoring, definitely. I'd love to see Pacome Dardier average 16 points, 15, 16 points, 28 minutes, couple of threes a game, keep your turnovers under 2, 4 or 5 assists, and 6, 7, 8 rebounds. I'd love to see that as an average, fam. Let's say 15, Uh, 15, 7, and 4 dimes in 28 minutes on efficiency. Ruben Nunez says we need to speed it up. We're too slow on offense. We let the other teams get set up on D. You hit it, fam. That frustrated me this season, but I think we were built to play slow because Jalen Brunson, God bless him. We can't run him into the ground. His offense. He was our offense under Thibodeau. It was a one-man band. And my opinion, from people saying, is that Thibodeau or was that Brunson? 100% it was Thibodeau, in my opinion. Right? Jalen Brunson is a high IQ player. He will adapt and do whatever the team needs. Right? But under Thibodeau, if you look at his history under Derrick Rose, point guard centric offense, all of Thibodeau's stops, even under Nate Robinson and some of those other point guards that he excelled with. Thibodeau's offense is point guard centric, point guard dominant as well. So I think Brunson will be less ball dominant under a new head coach. Fam. Like I said, Brunson, he's not that kind of guy. Like he knows he can get his shot off, but that was the offense that Thibodeau put together. Like Eddie said earlier, I think reading and reacting, the game will tell you what to do. We've got some trolls in the building. It's Knicks for clicks here. Dave says, if we didn't lose game 1, do you think we beat Indy in game 7 at home? Yeah, we do. I think we do. I mean, the Knicks were excellent in some closeout games, fam. And Madison Square Garden was electric in game 6 against Boston. And it was electric in game 5 against Indiana. I feel like we would have got a monster OG game, and we would have got a monster Brunson game, and I think that would have been enough to get us over the line, fam. But I don't think we had a great shot to beat Oklahoma, fam. I just think their style, I think Indiana's style is really pressing them. But like you guys said, we play too slow. We play into Oklahoma City hands, You got them guys set up on D. You got Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort. But the only way we could have beat Oklahoma, man, is to play fast, and we would have been, we would have been out on our feet at that point. So that's why we need to expand our rotation. We need to get more versatile, fam. I think styles do make fights. Yeah, so KD's still got his contract, fam. So not relying on KD to take a discount, but to pull off the trade. He's on a $50 million contract. So we can't feasibly make that work, fam. I'm not giving Karl Anthony Towns, man, a player in his prime who's all NBA. I'm not giving him up for a 37-year-old straight swap. And Phoenix, by reports, already rejected that idea, fam. Johnny, what's a realistic trade for Giannis if he really wanted to be a Knick? Everyone not named Brunson. As I pull up the roster now, fam, I feel like Johnny would have taken OG, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, probably Mikal Bridges, everyone except Cat and Brunson. Fam, and more picks. Cat would have maybe gone to another team. Sorry, yeah, Cat might have needed to be in the trade for salary purposes, but obviously you could meet the salary with OG and Mikal. But I don't think Milwaukee wanted Cat, so Cat would have to go somewhere else. It would have to be a blockbuster for, you know, 3-4 team deal. But yeah, the issue is our players just a 2-win now, and Milwaukee, if they're trading Giannis, they're looking to get younger and they're looking for draft picks, fam. So I think that boat sailed, fam, with the Mikal Bridges trade. Giving up those 5 first-round picks, it really did kind of limit, you know, what we can do in terms of trades. But we're there, man. We're right there, and get a different coach in. See what you can do. See what you can do, fam. It starts with Summer League coming up, right? Look at Indiana right now. Look, like I said, look at Oklahoma, man. You need to get value out of draft picks right now. You know, in a different reality, Obi Toppin would still be on this squad and just coming into his prime. So look at Quentin Grimes. We gave up on Obi too soon. We're giving up on Quentin Grimes, although I was okay with the trade at the time. But like I said, reality is those guys hadn't hit their prime yet. So you got to stay patient, but you got to develop. You got to provide a platform, a runway for your players to develop. You can't stymie their development, right? So you got to keep them getting consistent minutes, you know, whether it's 8 to 12 minutes a night for Huck Porty, you know, 16 to 20 minutes a night for Bacome Dardier. You got to keep them active, keep them developing, and keep them playing, fam, right there. So we're looking at two coaches who played young players, you know. You look at some players out in Memphis. Obviously, Taylor Jenkins was able to go deep into his bag, man, deep into his rotation. G.G. Jackson was getting major minutes. Jaren Jackson as well. Scottie Pippen. Mike Brown, he had his issues with Keon Ellis, but he did get a lot out of Malik Monk. He got the most out of Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and, you know, igniting that offense. But it does look like Taylor Jenkins, fam, is leading in the clubhouse. So that's where we sit right now. We went through some Summer League updates. Continue to bring y'all more updates as they come. But yeah, the Knicks Summer League squad is together in New York City right now. They will start a 5-day mini camp conducted by a veteran international coach coming in, one of Leon Rose's circles. We won't get a coach until after the draft. Also, a major report coming through, hopefully before free agency. So I do think the page hasn't turned on Jason Kidd yet, but I think it is likely to pass the Knicks by because he will get extended, I think, by the Dallas Mavericks. If he doesn't get extended, then definitely it's all on the table, I think, for him. But that is it, guys. We'll wrap this baby up tonight. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Smash that like button. Game 7 tomorrow, and then we'll come on Monday and chop up the latest after the NBA Finals and the season is done. My prediction, Oklahoma City Thunder by 8 points. It's a tight game heading into the fourth quarter. And the whistle, SGA, them boys hit some big threes. Maybe even Isaiah Hartenstein can play some big part in that win with some offensive rebounds to get the crowd fired up. Man, please, Oklahoma City Thunder, get it done. Been the best team all regular season. I think it would be a fitting way for them to walk away with the Larry O'Brien, fam. If Indiana win it, man, we'll never hear the end of it. But they deserve their props for getting this far. And definitely they've pushed the Thunder, man, deep. An uncomfortable situation as a young team. But they're only going to get better. They're only going to learn the situation. So we can all turn all our attention to the NBA draft after Sunday night, fam, when the season is done. And it'll be on to the 2026 New York Knicks Summer League. Here we come, fam. Have a blessed night, everyone. Peace.